Leader, you are a leader. You are a leader. Rising right up the ranks. You're a leader. Lessons will teach you just how to reach your endless ambitions. Oh yeah. Look at yourself in the mirror. Turn that frown upside down. Show what you're working with. You can't depend on someone else.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us for the Women's History Month edition of Legends and Leapers. To kick us off this afternoon, we're going to turn things over to Ebony Wimbush, AMAC CEO. Ebony?
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the March installation of Legends and Leapers. My name is Ebony Wimbush, your new president and CEO of AMAC. As Charmaina just mentioned, March is Women's History Month, and we've got a few days, and we are excited today to celebrate powerhouse women in the industry, some who are trailblazers, and then the next trailblazers to come. And so, here at AMAC, our vision is focused on creating economic equity, access, wealth for women and minorities. And we don't just live or think about it and dream it as our vision, we also live it. And so I too want to take the opportunity to acknowledge our board members, our women who are on our board and our leaders for your commitment, your service, and your dedication to AMAC. And I want to take a few minutes to actually read their names. If you don't know them, some you'll meet today on the phone or on the Zoom call, and others you should get to know. And so I'm going to start with the very own Lauryn Mangum Reed, who will be one of our leapers today and our fearless co-host of Legends and Leapers. And then our regional directors, the very own Tanya Pastorelle, who you will also hear from today, Robin Gibson, Justina Mann, Mori Russell, who you will also hear from today, one of our other fearless emerging leaders, Kimberly Sutton. And then I'm going to go on to our at-large directors, Bridget Villegas, Cassandra Bozeman, Karen Ellis, and Alicia Ivy. So again, ladies, thank you for your service. I can't take this opportunity and not acknowledge the woman who is on my staff, who you heard from at the very beginning, and that's Charmaina Roundtree. So Charmaina, I want to publicly thank you for your leadership, your dedication, and commitment to AMAC. So here we got a lot of exciting things going on, and I want you to know about them. In case you weren't at the Economic Opportunity and Policy Forum last week, you missed a action-packed, rich conversation with great networking opportunities. Check it out on all of our social media channels. But what's coming up? Next up is in April. On April 12th, we are leading an ACRP, Systematic Inequalities in Airports, Industry Insight event. You can find more information on our website. And of course, June 20th, through 23rd, mark your calendar, be in Chicago, our annual Business Diversity Conference. Registration is open now. We will sell out, so please take the opportunity to register soon. So now, for why you're all here, right? To hear from these women who, again, and I have to say this, I mean, trailblazers, powerhouse, lioness in this industry. I'm going to turn it over to Lauryn, who will introduce your Legends and Leapers today, and look for the opportunity for you to ask questions. Put them in the chat as we go along, and we'll make sure to get them afterwards. Lauryn?
Thank you, Ebony. Hello, everyone. I am so excited. If you missed last month for Black History Month, it was just an amazing conversation, and just gearing up for March. For Women's History Month, we have a dynamic group of women that are joining us today. So Mori and I are acting as, we are the leapers, and then we have both Tanya Pastorelle and Andrella that are our legends. Now, I know that most of you guys came for Ricky, let's be serious. No one's here for Ricky. It's Women's History Month. We're rocking and we're rolling, and I am joined by my co-moderator, Miss Mori Russell. We are going to get into it. So I actually want to talk about our first legend on this call. And speaking of Chicago, Tanya Pastorelle has actually spent her entire career in airport concessions. Her company, Pastorelle Marketing Group, has been in business for more than 15 years, focusing on 3 areas: airport concessions, business development consulting for brands and operators in food, retail, and common use lounges, airport proposal writing, and ACDBE joint venture partnership to food and retail businesses in multiple airports. Early in her career, she spent years at O'Hare and Midway airports and operations, marketing, specialty leasing, and customer service. She also worked for an airport food operator in marketing and product development for both proprietary and franchise brands. Pastorelle Marketing Group is a joint venture partner to InMotion Entertainment in Chicago's O'Hare, Denver International, and Newark International airports. In Boston, PMG partners to operate 2 Potbelly sandwich shops. She is also a proud partner with Midway Restaurant Development, another ACDB operator, to license Garrett's Popcorn Shop in Chicago O'Hare's Terminal 5.
Lauren's favorite.
My favorite. It needed no introduction. Tanya is also the Great Lakes Regional Director for AMAC. So thank you so much, Tanya, and welcome.
Yeah. Thank you, Lauryn, for that. And Tanya, very well-rounded woman. So excited to have you here. And I have the pleasure of introducing Miss Andrella Kenner, who is actually on the AMAC Foundation board. She's also the founder and president of C12 Aviation. So just a little bit about Miss Andrella. Her company is she's based in our beautiful city of Atlanta, Georgia. Her company is an award-winning aerospace and IT provider delivering services to a global audience of public and private agencies. Founded in 1993, C12 Aviation I want to stop here and notice this. This is the nation's only minority and women-owned business engaged in provisioning air traffic control services to the federal government. Stamp, that's why we're here. That's why she's here. Ms. Kenner has over 36 years of comprehensive senior level management experience in finance, marketing, sales, information technology, another well-rounded woman. C12 is currently responsible for 22 airports, air traffic control towers at airports in the US, Puerto Rico, Virgin Islands. And they're just getting started. To date, C12's Aviation's most outstanding accomplishment has been and continues to be over 45 million aircraft operations for over 24 years with no fatalities due to the controller error. So, I mean, that's a big accomplishment under their belt. Ms. Kenner has received countless individual awards and honors. Most recently, she was inducted to the Atlanta Business League's Hall of Fame in 2021, and she's a proud recipient of AMAC's own Catalyst Award from 2021. Just to wrap it up and kind of dive into this conversation, Ms. Kenner is a huge proponent on bringing awareness to and encouraging women to enter the industry of the male-dominated industry that we're in. As a woman business in a male-dominant arena, Ms. Kenner is involved in an array of committees and events that bring together the community of women. So, Ms. Kenner, I mean, your bio says it for itself that you are really someone who's reaching back and making sure that you're bringing more women into this industry. So thank you for that. Thank you for being here. And I'm excited to get into this conversation.
Me too.
So, yeah, and Lauryn, if it's fine with you, I really want to just pop it off with you, Andrella, and just knowing, you know, that knowing that your company is the nation's only minority-owned, woman-owned business engaged in provisioning of air traffic control services for the federal government. Can you shed a little light on that for us and some of the challenges and advantages that have presented themselves with you being the only woman minority in this space?
Well, thank you, Mori, and thank you, Lauryn and Tonja. I'm so proud of us. We're here. But anyway, to share with you, first of all, I want to thank you for all the introductions, but I want to start off by saying that I think it's from the beginnings, it was from the background of me just getting in the game. I mean, it was someone that believed in me. They took a shot and said, okay, how would you like to start doing this? I didn't have the experience, but I had a great opportunity. So I took that opportunity and turned it into a fabulous company, a phenomenal group of people that work with me. I also want to start off by saying it's because of I am the daughter of an amazing mom and dad, and that's really my beginnings. And I'm the mother of an amazing son and an outstanding new daughter-in-law. And I'm also the sister and the nephews and nieces and all of my family that have been so supportive of me. And I have an exceptional, phenomenal company with amazing employees and staff that have helped me in growing the company. I hired the best in the business. That's how I started. I made sure that I, learned the business. I went after the business. I talked to the staff and the members. So it's a lot of things that happened along the way, but the most important thing was the staff and the people that work for the company. They do an amazing job, and that's why we have 0 fatalities due to control of error. I think a lot of my background and a lot of my personality is getting out and amongst the people, and I'll say that. And I think being the only woman is because of my attitude about everything, my drive about things, my personality about things. I think that has helped me get through a lot of those things that might have been challenges for women being in a predominantly male environment. And I just learned how to accept what came at me next. And I think that's what pushed me forward. So to answer your question, I think it's the surrounding of the family, it's the surrounding of the people, it's surrounding of the magnificent people that work for the company, and they take pride in what they do every day. So I won't take all the credit for everything that has occurred. I'll give the credit to the people that deserve it. And that's the amazing people that work for the company. So.
That's awesome. So Tanya, now, very rarely do we hear that someone's career has been in this industry from the beginning. So tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I did spend a year in shopping centers as a marketing director, but then I was recruited to one of the first airport concessions planning programs at O'Hare. And I was recruited as a marketing person, which was my background. And then about a month into it, they told me that the marketing budget had been completely removed, and would I like to be an operations person? So like Andrella, I just decided I may not have that experience, but I've quit my job. And so I'm going to stay here and I'm going to learn, and always with a bit of a focus on not necessarily marketing, but on sales building, is how can we maximize this tenant's opportunity to be here and what they do. So yeah, just it grew from there. I worked on site at O'Hare. I worked for an operator, as it said in my bio, and now took the opportunity. I was on my own for a little while in between. And then after 9/11, a lot of the consultants were no longer around. So I took a position, and now I've been back out on my own for almost 15 years.
Great. Wow. Thank you. Thank you so much for sharing that. So I think for most of our usual watchers, you notice that we've switched it up today in honor of Women's History Month. So really, to both of you all, can you all just speak on the importance of having this month that recognizes women, and the importance of us being here together in this industry, making sure we highlighted it this month in Legends and Leapers?
Tonja?
Okay. Well, it's interesting to me. And first of all, I want to thank Mori and Lauryn, because mentorship goes both ways here. I've been very impressed watching you ladies putting together the Emerging Leaders Program. I remember, which I haven't told you guys this story, back in 2016, I was at the Cleveland AMAC conference. And a few of my girlfriends and I looked around and we just noted that there were no women in their 20s or really even early 30s at that conference, and what could be done about that. And luckily, soon after, you ladies came along and started making an impact on our industry. And I have enjoyed learning from you as well. So, you know, that's part of what's important. And our industry is male dominated, but one of the things I've always said to people, sometimes I hardly notice because the women who are in our industries have such big personalities and make themselves known, and they take up the space in the room. They can man spread, you know, with at least socially. So, you know, I think it's a great month to really recognize what the women in our industry do for each other. And one of the things I wanted to make sure I didn't miss on this call is to give a shout out. During COVID, while I had lots of female friends in the industry, we all got together, and it hit some of us really hard, just socially, not being out there. And so we started having COVID parties. We had wig night, we had cocktail party night, lots of drinks, lots of late nights. Sometimes we invited our guy friends, mostly not. And that has developed into a 16-person group text that we reach out every week. And sometimes during COVID, that was someone shedding a tear on that call of, am I going to lose my business? So, and I'm happy to say that pretty much everyone on that call is still in the industry, came out doing well, but I definitely want to credit that strong group of women for helping me. And so I'm glad that we have this time to honor the other women in our industry too. And I'm so honored to be here with Andrella. She and I got to know each other a little bit more last week at the Economic Forum, and she's just a rock star.
Well, thank you, Tonja. You always so complimentary. I just love that. And Mori and Lauryn, I want to tell you one thing that I'm really excited about. I was the first to graduate from college in my family, first to go to grad school, first to go into business, first to do everything. So I am so thankful for you lovely women who are taking the lead, because you're not waiting on your seat at the table, you're building the table. So that's what makes me so proud. I had the honor of going with Mori to John Lewis's office, and we had the most amazing time, but it was constantly moving along with the next generation, because I think you're our future. I know that I am looking forward to that future, because you guys have so many interesting things that you're all accomplishing. You're not waiting on the legends to lead you, you're leading yourself. And so I am very thoughtful about making sure that I take the time to spend the time with you guys. And that is very helpful for me, because of course I have a succession plan going on with my next generation, because I want to be like the Mori Russells of the world, because you have generational groups that you've already started, and you are right behind going into the future. So my future is looking better with you guys leading the way. I do spend a lot of time with the next generation. I hire a lot of the next generation because I know that that's our future. So today I am proud, I'm thankful, and I take pride in everything that you guys have done to set up Legends and Leapers, because we wouldn't have had the opportunity to sit at this table without you guys thinking about how the table needs to go now. So for this month, the women in America, we should all be proud. I want to make sure that we're not competing all the time. I want to make sure that we're collaborating, because I was proud to have a dinner table with Tonja this week, and Mori and Lauryn. So all of that needs to be blended now. So the seat at the table looks better every day. So thank you for doing this for us.
Thank you. So a couple things. One, Tanya, now I feel like I wasn't part of the Cool Kids Club, and I want in on this 16, 15, however many person women empowerment group chat for the tears, the shoulders, the you go girls. Mori, I feel like you are in agreement. There's probably several people on this call like, wait a minute, this needs to be a thing. So I absolutely love that. And that is awesome that you guys had that support, because that's kind of where Cocktails and Conversations came from. But just to have a group of women, to Andrella's point, not competing, but really just being on the same page and empowering each other and motivating each other and pushing each other is truly a beautiful thing. So my question for you guys is, who was that individual? Andrella talked about the succession plan. Who was that individual or individuals for you that really helped change or help push you or push you to where you are now? Who were those women for you?
I would say my mom. I take hats off to her. She's not with us today, but I would say my mom and all my family. It was those women. I mean, we have our historians of women that have pushed us and made us where we are today. But we also have those moms that would say things like, God didn't bring you this far to leave you. And she would always remind me some of those days at 11 o'clock at night, working on proposals and, constantly carrying my son, who used to sit down on the floor while I worked on a proposal. Now, you all don't need to know that, but those were the types of people that kept me going, because I knew that they were depending on us to succeed. And it was the strength of the family. It's always going to be the strength of the family, and they make you a stronger person. So that's my sheroes, and I appreciate the sheroes that are coming after me. So we need everybody now, because our future is right now.
Take us to church, Andrew. I was like, wow, okay. I love it. Go ahead, Tanya.
It's kind of interesting. I was thinking about this and preparing for the call, and I've had a lot of male mentors that have supported me. I never really was made to feel like I was less as a woman, and that definitely started with my dad, who I'm like Andrella. Actually, I'm the first in my family to get a 4-year degree and go to college, the first entrepreneur. But what I learned from my dad, who was a union laborer, was hard work. And then, a lot of the men in our industry that taught me, but I tell you who has been a big inspiration to me. So we said I'm based in Chicago. The Chicago Department of Aviation has been, if you guys haven't noticed, run by women for a long time. I mean, we have our commissioner, Jamie Ree, right now. We had Rosie Andolino. We had Ginger Evans. Back in the day when I was working there, we had Mary Rose Loney. I don't honestly remember that many male commissioners. And, we also have a lot of women in the senior roles there. So certainly at my home airport, I've never felt stifled. I've always felt supported as a business owner, as someone who was there. So, while we may not have had day-to-day interaction, I certainly have taken a lot of inspiration. And now we have in Chicago also our first, Black female openly gay mayor, so that's quite an inspiration as well. And just as the plug, all of us women in Chicago look forward to welcoming you all in June for the AMAC conference. So can't get away without that.
Exactly. Well, thank you for that. And Tanya, I like that you brought up the fact that, when you think of some of the mentors that have been very impactful in your life, they were men. And then I just really appreciate both of the words that you and Miss Andrella had to say about Lauryn and ourselves, because, we are leapers and we're learning every day as we're hearing from you all, and the way that you're pouring into us is how we want to pour into others. So thank you for that. Those kind words mean so much. But I want to get back to, how men have been inspirational or helped you, and how do you, just for both of you all, how do you all think that men and society as a whole can help to empower women more in our industry?
Well, I think men as a whole, in my organization, it's more male dominated. I had to get to know them. So I participated in doing things with the staff. And I think it really helps that you spend the time. You have to understand they have a male's point of view and you have a woman's point of view. So you take the time to understand who they are, and even white male. I enjoy working with both races and nationalities. I haven't had a problem at all with any of that because I got to know the people, and the people are who make the company. So and I'm here again, it was a male that introduced me to the industry. Because back then, 29 years ago, there were no males, no women in this industry, and it still isn't any women managing air traffic control services. So I had to learn how to adjust, and a lot of things were very stern, but you just have to adjust. And then once you adjust, they will adjust because they realize that you have a different way, a different view. And also for women, I try to work with the women because remember, you have children. We have a lot more issues to deal with, and we have to work toward understanding what their issues are, just like they have to work toward what our issues are. So I had to meet in the middle, and you really have to meet in the middle because we have different views about everything, and it's a different world right now because women are getting more enthusiasm, and they're recognizing who we are and what we're capable of doing. And it's some very strong women that have been along the way, and they weren't recognized in some instances and they were recognized in others. But right now, they're being recognized. And I have so much admiration for so many because now we're getting the accolades that we think that we deserved years ago. And that just makes you proud because you recognize that they recognize who we are. So you might not have been seen and unheard years ago, and now you're being seen and heard. So I think that's very important.
And I would say one thing to recognize is, and I'm sure Andrella would, and you all would agree, is the best teams are made up of both men and women.
Yes.
I don't necessarily prefer to be on a team of all women, but certainly all men's not good. But because I think, women can certainly be just as strong and visionary and technically able as men, but we often, I feel like, recognize more of the nuance in the room. Because we do often lead families, not always, but we sometimes do, we have to plan, we have to cover all of our bases. And so I think that that's a strength that women bring. And then I would also say, here's a way we have paved the way for men is because as women have insisted to be recognized that we need to have some accommodation, not over, not extra, but that we do have lives, that has benefited men. I mean, I would say men, my age and younger, and certainly the men I see in their 30s that have small children, they are insisting to leave work, that they want to coach the little league team and they want to be there for their kids, or maybe they have to take their elderly father to his doctor's appointment and they're no longer ashamed to do it. And I feel like that's somewhere where women have led men and benefited them.
Yeah.
I was waiting for it to happen, Tanya. So, Tanya, you bring amazing points. This is something that I feel as though we as women have been fighting for a long time, Andrella. And from a I don't want to say small scale, but just from being heard, not being silenced in rooms, being it's letting everyone know it's okay for us to take up space. That diversity goes so much further than just, Black and white, but having women in the space, having, more seasoned individuals, having younger individuals, etc. But I really want to get into the hats that we wear, because regardless if you're a mother, regardless, if you're single, we wear a lot of hats. But this particular hat I want to get into is that of being a working mom. What was that experience like for you guys? Your kids are older now, but what was that experience like for you guys as you were raising your children?
oh my gosh, that's all you can say. Well, you work on a proposal, you run to the baseball game or the basketball game, and you say, okay, mom, how many points did he hit? You always had to know how many points he hit and making sure that you get back to the office that night because you had a proposal to turn in. So it was a juggle. And I've been a single parent, so that was extra. And but it was so exciting because I never, ever had a boring moment. It was exciting going to the game. It was exciting, you know, talking to the coaches and then coming back and working on a proposal. It was just an exciting life. And I wouldn't trade anything that occurred for the world, because I know that I put in 100% to the company, and I put 1,000% into raising my son. And I had 1,000% of support groups that helped me. So I would say that you can do it all, girls, just go for it.
And I would say it's about making choices, you know. So and something Andrella and I have in common. It's like, you know, yeah, you raise your kids, you do what you have to do, and you stay up till 2 a.m. working on that proposal to get it done. And my kids remember, you know, waking up in the middle of the night and coming downstairs and finding me still up working. And when Andrella and I had a chance to talk last week, we were trying to come up with something we had in common. And one of the things I told her we did is, so her son is working for her now, and he was at the conference, and I told her to hear him when she wasn't there talking about his mother was absolutely beaming. And he's just so proud of her. And I have proudly raised 2 boys, Frankie and Dominic, that are in college now. And my proudest moments are either overhearing them talking about me or hearing from other people when, you know, I feel like I have raised 2 boys that think women can do anything. And, you know, they're supportive boyfriends, and they are, you know, two men that I think are going out into the world. And I think that's something that it was nice to see with Andrella and talk to her about, is we didn't have girls, you know, to impart that onto, but happy to have raised boys that will be very supportive of their coworkers, their daughters, their, you know, their partners. And so I think that's great. But, you know, I do think, you know, it's interesting. One of the things I want to say that may be a little bit different here is I want to make sure that we also validate every woman's choices. There are a lot of women that are my friends that are in the industry that are not, that chose to remain single or not have children. And, you know, that is every woman's path, and every one of those paths is valid. And, you know, while it takes a village to raise a child, they may not want to be your village and make up for you when you're taking off. So I think we have to be mindful, as well as moms, that we are making sure that, you know, everyone knows, and also our clients or our bosses know that, yeah, we may have taken that time off to go to the game, but then we came back and worked, you know, and put that time in after the kids went to bed. So that's just something I wanted to throw out there too.
A lot of sleepless nights, but yeah, we can do it all. You just have to put your mind to it, and you have to focus, and you have to turn off that work stuff and go to, okay, so how did we do today? Did you have a good day? So you got to throw it all in.
Yeah. Yeah. And Tanya, I'm glad that you brought that up, because I do think, like, even I'm just going to give an example. Like, I ran into someone at a conference or something, and kind of the first thing they said to me is like, when are you going to have some babies? And I was like, oh, well, you know, it's kind of, I want to bring that up, because I do think that sometimes that is just the thought. The general thought is that, oh, as a woman, this should come before that, or that should come before this. And, you know, Andrella, I heard you say, I gave 100% to my business and 1,000% to my family. And I want to just touch on that. Are you really saying that you gave more to your family, or what is that, the balance?
Okay, there is a balance. You're always going to give your heart to your family. And that's the 1,000%, because your family gives 1,000% to you. Your company, you're going to do everything you can, do your very best, write the best proposal, and deal with every situation in the company the very best way you can. But your family is always going to come first, because their family comes first. But you're going to give 100% to them, because you are responsible for payrolls, you're responsible for people's lives, you're responsible for making sure aircraft land safely. You're going to do everything you can. 100% doesn't mean that you didn't give everything you could to them. It means that your family is just first. That's all.
Exactly.
Well, and I would just say too, there's a time for everything as well. And, some people may have the opportunity to step back a little bit when their kids are younger. And there's not always time for your little ones. There is time for your career. So I caution people against, I never tell people to disappear. You always need to remain relevant. You always need to be engaged. I caution especially women, even if you decide to stay home for a while to take care of your children, or maybe you have a child with special needs, stay engaged, get on an AMAC committee, keep up with LinkedIn every day, because if you do want to take that time off or step back and work part-time, the nice thing about now is no one necessarily knows that. If you're engaged regularly on LinkedIn and you publish articles and you're on an AMAC committee, no one necessarily knows that you're not working full-time, especially in your own business. So I think that's something that's very important that we can do now that wasn't always that easy. Not that it's easy, but
I just want to add also, Tonja is right. I think I have another third job too, because I'm on a lot of committees, a lot of associations, from ACA to AAA to AMAC to ABL. But I am very, very proud of all those organizations, because each one has its own theme that I'm working to help, from AAAE, from the Air Traffic Control Association, from AMAC, being on the foundation. I'm very, very proud of all of those organizations, because they're all working toward a goal to help others. And I think since we legends now, Tonja, I'm trying to do something to give back to the world. And those are some of the things that I've always wanted to do, but I didn't make the time. So now I'm making the time, because I think it's very important for us to make the time to do that.
Are you?
No, I'm not muted. I'm just very rarely speechless. Y'all know that about me. And the two of you guys are just so dynamic. And while you're speaking, I'm looking at the chat and this needs to be like a 2-hour conversation. So trust and believe the after show, I got all the questions, because Tanya, I just love how you push the envelope, but you say the things that people are thinking, but not always very comfortable to say out loud. And so
I have a bit of reputation for a low filter.
And Mori knows, I always preface things like, I'm not the politically correct one. I'm gonna say it how I feel. And I always appreciate that. And I appreciate both of you being in a position and making sure that you're taking up space, right? And making sure that you are present regardless of where you're at and what you're doing. And it's such an inspiration. So my question for you is what are you two doing to not only keep the door open, but create another seat at the table for another woman to come into your respect? We're all in the same industry, but we can do so many different things, and you two are a prime example of that. But to create another seat at the table where you are right now.
Onto your time first.
Okay. I would say, one of the biggest ways is really through involvement with AMAC. I mean, AMAC has been such an organization close to my heart for so long. Here we go, next generation. But it is involvement. And I think that the more people that can get involved in this organization, the better and the stronger that we are. And we have some very strong women we have a lot of fun on the board, and often get teased about the women gathering together to make sure that we are heard. But I'm a little bit different. I'm kind of a one-person company. I do have joint ventures where I have people that work for us, but as far as me, I have a few people that are consultants that work for me. But it's things like this, and just trying to support people. We were at the Economic Forum last week, and I had a new member come up to me that just said, "Hey, I just decided to show up. I don't know anyone," and that took her around and found out what her business was and introduced her to a few people. So I think that's important to make sure. And I would just encourage everyone to get involved with AMAC, and the annual conference is wonderful. We all want you there. But even these smaller events, sometimes like the Economic Forum, where we got to, learn about the legislative issues. And I had such a great time getting to know people from, the architecture, engineering, construction, talking to airport directors. And so I think, for me, AMAC is probably my biggest tool for doing that. And I'm sure Andrella has a whole lot more to say on that.
Well, I think all of the organizations are big tools for me now. I've also been speaking at different schools, and I spoke at a Rotary, which I found interesting, because what I'm trying to do to help is to get more involved with the STEM industry so that I can push more technical skilled young ladies and young men into the industry, because I want to make sure that this industry grows. We have a shortage everywhere now. We have a problem with, getting people involved in the industry, because we're not out there pushing it. So one of my reasons for getting involved with all the organizations is to push more people into the industry, more women into the industry, because it has been a male-dominated environment. But I am trying very hard to make sure that changes, and I'm hoping and praying that some of the things that we're doing and saying are going to make a difference, because like I said, you guys are helping us not just be a seat at the table, but you are building the tables. And so you all don't even recognize all the things that you've done that inspire so many women out here. I enjoy my next generation, because I get to get involved with all sorts of new stuff that I don't know anything about, and they get to share with me. Well, and one was really cute when my son first came on board. The first thing he said, "Oh, that website is dated." I said, "I've had it for years. It worked for me." So, all of those things make a difference. And you guys have come in and y'all snap y'all's fingers and things change, because we need to be a part of the organizations, a part of all of, from AMAC on down to every organization we can possibly spend time doing, and still grow the company. I mean, our goals are to grow our companies. And so we've got to do everything we can to make a difference in America, because I think the future is right now, not tomorrow, for women, for all of us. I mean, with all the infrastructure money they're putting out in the industry, I think the future is right now. So I need to push that envelope and make sure that you guys are out there making a difference, so that I can get a retirement check. So I'm working real hard at it.
Well, we want to help you in getting there. And like you say, the future is right now. And I'm going to just take it from my church. The phrase of the year is "here is holy," right? So this is the moment. It's not there. It's not in front of us. It's not behind us. It's right now.
It's right.
So yeah. Thank you for that. I have one final question, and then I know Lauryn might have one as well, but so I just want you all to leave myself and Lauryn with just some words of wisdom. Me, 30-year-old single woman, no kids, multiple businesses, entrepreneur. Lauryn went from the retail industry, now she's in the tech business, been married for a year and some change, new baby. Can you all leave us with just some words of advice on both ends of, where I'm at, and then where Lauryn's at as well?
Okay, I'll take it. The first one, I want you to do the first thing for me, and that's to live in prayer. make today better than yesterday, and succeed on purpose. So with that, that includes your family, that includes your businesses, that includes you doing everything you can. You know, you can't, what somebody told me yesterday, you can't sit back and look at Netflix, and I cracked up laughing. I said, oh, I'm tired, I need to look at Netflix. But you're gonna have to push yourself. I mean, I can remember a mini night, and I'm sure Tonja can remember hers too, a mini night, working on proposals, trying to get ready to get my son ready for school the next day, trying to make sure he had all the equipment that we had to buy to get him to do all of those different events that we were part of, you know, and then getting on a plane the next day, going to a proposal because you got, you know, sessions to speak and tell about what you can do for, you've got to be able to do it all. Now, I know that's a lot what I said, but the future's right now, not tomorrow, not the past, not living on your laurels. You got to do it right now. So you're going to have to jump out of your skin and be a good wife, be a good mother, and be a good business partner, and be, you know, able to do all of that at the same time. And that's an awful lot. Now, you can sit back later, but right now you need your running shoes on, because the future's right now. And that's what I want to leave with you.
I love that. I love that. And I would say your network is everything. And I know that's true everywhere, but especially in our industry. I mean, when I bring new clients to a conference, their first statement is always, wow, you guys are a tight-knit group. And it really is true. I mean, the entire aviation industry, when you think about it, is relatively small compared to, you know, I'm in the concessions world. We are especially small when you think about how many shopping centers are out there versus how many airports that have, you know, any sort of a viable concessions program. So your network is really important. I mean, I tell people, I have friends that I literally made on the elevator at an AMAC conference that I'm still in touch with. I have so many people, my best friends are from this industry. And part of that comes from being like Andrella, where we are just grinding. So, you know, there's not as much time sometimes to build as many outside relationships. And so definitely keeping up your network, put the work into that. You know, don't get so busy writing a proposal that you don't check up on a friend who just won a contract, or making sure. And another thing I would say I didn't necessarily think about until now, but is celebrate every step. Yes. I do. I take the time. And even as we came back from COVID, I tried to really take the time, like, this is my first flight. I really want to celebrate that. This is the first, my stores have reopened. I want to take a moment and take this in. And when you win a contract or when you get a new job, don't just, you know, well, I got to get the kids here and I got to do this and I have to do this and I have a commitment over here. Take the time to really celebrate those victories. And the last thing I would say is just continue to learn. And, you know, whether that's, I mean, you know, plug again for AMAC. We have so many great professional development opportunities coming up down in the pike in the next couple of years. But even right now, continuing to learn. I've learned so much, even just last week, like I said, getting to know people in different sectors of the industry and learning what it's like to be an airport director on a day-to-day basis. Some people don't take the time to do that as a concessions person. Right. But I would say just continue to learn. That's fine.
Mori spoke for herself. I got all the questions, so you guys are stuck with me for at least another 20 minutes. Here comes Ebony, like, Lauryn, no, you're not. Okay, so I'm gonna get two though. Ebony, I get two before the after show. Okay, so one thing we talked about grinding, we talked about working, we talked about, you know, being up and basically burning the candle at all ends. We talked about all the hats that we wear and all that jazz. But my question for you guys is, where is the balance? Sorry, as my daughter, where is the balance? What do you guys do for fun? When do you make time for Andrella? When do you make time for Tanya outside of the industry? It's so easy to get wrapped into everything that we're doing, right? And it's so easy to just be literally on a constant grind. when do you just take a breath? When do you have a moment of self-care? What are your hobbies? What do you do?
I would say
It's important to you.
I would say I take a break every single day. Okay, the one thing that you do learn is organization. So organization with children, with work, you learn organization. I came in the office the other day after coming back from AMAC, and I said, oh my gosh, my desk is a disaster. So the first thing I did was organize. They tell me I'm the world's person that always has a project. That's because everything is a project to me. So I balance by making sure that I'm organized, making sure that the projects that are on high, then they sit in a stack and I move them from place to place. I check them off the list. And if I miss something, that's because I'm not organized. So I balance doing that by, after I get through my organization, I turn the light off. Since we've been in COVID, you're gonna crack up. I actually bring my purse down the hall every day. I bring the purse down the hall. I make up my bed every morning. I'm an organized person. So, and if I have a stack sitting over there, I'm gonna put it over here. And when I end the day, I'm gonna turn the light off, let the window down. I'm gonna walk down the hall, take my purse, and then I'm gonna turn on something calm, some music. And when I have the opportunity to go out and do things, I do. I take myself to dinner. I take myself to a friend's house to visit them. If somebody's ill, I call a friend on the phone. So I turn it off just like I turn it on. So, and once you don't have small children, then I'm sure you have other things to do with family members and things like that. So as I told you, my family is a big part of my life. So that part is important to me. So I spend the time talking to my nieces and my nephews and my niece and my sisters. And you find the time to do that too, because that's another project in my head. So if you stay organized, you stay within your scope, you will do everything you want to do. And I send that out to all the women. Be who you are, be aggressive, don't stand behind the corner, move yourself out in the light. So, and you spend time with your family. I just helped my son walk down the aisle, so we had to go through the process of the marriage, all the things that you do with all that. So that was fun. So I had entertainment. So so you get involved with everything. You really do. You just have to say at the end of the day, you're going to turn it off and you're going to go to bed. So that's my answer for that. Organization.
I love how I asked about balance and hobbies. You said, well, the first thing I love to do is organize my desk. And I'm like, leave the mess. I need to go watch some Netflix. But I appreciate it because it just shows that grind and tenacity that you're like, before I can even relax or get started, the first thing I need to do is to organize, is to get everything in order. So that's awesome. I could definitely take a little bit away from that. Go ahead, Tanya, before Ebony cuts me off.
I will be very quick. And I will say the phrase that many of us know, and my children knew when they were small, and they know now. Ain't mama happy, ain't nobody happy. And so from the time my kids were little, I do take at least a little bit of time for myself. I used to trade off with my husband, and every Saturday morning, one of us got to sleep in, so you come up with those little tricks that you do for each other to make sure that you do take the time. And sometimes balance goes out the window. You got to do it all at the same time. So work-life balance can be a bit of a myth. It's whatever your priorities are, because your priorities are different. Everyone on this call right now, your priorities are different than mine. So you have to just decide what's important to you.
And my last question, Ebony, don't kill me. My last question, because I know sometimes people drop off before the after show. So I want to get this in, Ebony. It's Women's History Month, and I'm the moderator. Thank you. Okay, so AMAC, right? We're talking AMAC, and you all have been involved and have so much involvement, but what has AMAC done for you personally, and what has AMAC done for your career?
I'll go first. I think AMAC is a wonderful organization. It's really the only organization that is for minorities. And being a woman and a minority, I am amazed that I've been able to keep up with AMAC, because they do so many terrific things for so many people. So thank you, AMAC. And that's what I'm gonna say about it.
I mean, AMAC is my support system. Like I said, I have met some of my closest friends here, and right down to one of the first few times I went to AMAC, one of the things I noticed, and I still get this to this day, women in AMAC compliment each other. I get that. I like that dress. You look good today, you know? And so I make sure to go up to even some of my girlfriends, and one of the men I will say that I will shout out back to, and Mori, don't tear up, but CJ Johnson was the one at every conference that was like, baby, you look good, whether you did or not, you know? So I want to make sure that we all, that's a big thing I get from AMAC, you know, is it's
confident,
very complimentary, and it boosts your confidence. So we'll throw that out there.
You ladies were great. Thank you.
I don't know about you guys on the Zoom, but I feel inspired. I feel elevated. I mean, I feel ready to go out, you know, and do so much more to support and help other women, to give back, so much more to ensure that AMAC is pushing forward opportunities for women. And, you know, to that point, one of the things that I missed at the beginning, but I want to tell you, you know, it's unfortunate that Women's History Month is just a month. I feel like we should have more time. But tomorrow, on the last day of Women's History Month, we have another fantastic lineup of powerhouse, dynamic, accomplished women. So we have the Airport Leadership Collective Fireside Chat, Bridging the Cultural Divide. We've got 4 women who are leaders in the industry, including Gladys Brown, Director of Yuma International Airport, Cynthia Guidry, Director of Long Beach Airport. I see Angela Gittens on the phone. Shout out, former Director, ACI International, ACI World, but there are a lot of other titles that we could add to that. I think her name speaks for itself. And then, of course, last but not least, Stella Bowens, former CEO, San Diego County Regional Airport Authority. So, you know, again, take the opportunity to engage. Lauryn, thank you for asking that last question. If you are inspired by what you heard today, or if you are encouraged by the words that they've shared, join tomorrow. And most importantly, join AMAC, connect, engage, give back. These are all of the things that we do, including advocating. So please take the opportunity to be a part of this great family. And now I'm going to turn it back over for the after show. Thank you for all of those who have joined us. But you know what happens, and I learned this being new, is that the show goes on. So there'll be about 10 more minutes, or maybe 20, depending on the questions that Mori and Lauryn have. But now this is just a time to kind of relax a little bit. Feel free to put additional questions in the chat. But Lauryn and Mori, I'm going to turn it back over to you guys. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone.
Thank you, Ebony. This is when the show really starts. For those that have not attended the after show, this is when they just let me do my thing. So Tanya, you'll appreciate this. So, okay.
Oh boy.
Right? We got to stop the recording. No, I'm just playing. So my question is, Andrella, what was Michael like as a child?
Oh, he was an outstanding young man, full of energy, entertainment, and had me going every single day to make sure that I got him to whatever he needed to get to on time. He's a very on time kind of person. So it was enthusiasm all the time. Why? That's the question. Why? It was always the why, because he wanted to know why this, why that. It was always why. So you're going to get that question so many times, you're going to say, I don't know why. So, okay.
Well, while we're on Michael, I want to share a funny story about last week too, which shows the grinding of Miss Andrella. And so I had finished dinner and was at the bar. And so Michael was there. It's like 8:30 and he's tired. He was going to go home and go to bed. And so then I, of course, was still there at like 10:30 or 11 o'clock or something when this big group showed up at the bar, including Andrella, you know? And so we had to send a picture to her son, Michael, to say, this is how you do it. You don't go home at 8:30, you stay up and you network and you do what you have to do until you can't do it anymore.
We closed the bar.
We gave him a little excuse because he's newly married. So we're gonna let him pass right now on that.
So clearly Michael paid his mother for that very, very nice and respectable answer. I was hoping we were gonna have pictures, the whole nine. So for those that don't know, Michael is a member of the Emerging Leaders Committee, and he just did a phenomenal job last week at the Economic Policy Forum and just represented CI Squared so well, and just loved on his mama, like Tanya said, even when she wasn't in the room, just spoke so highly of her. So it's amazing that, you know, to see her doing what she's done over the past 30 years, and then her child to come in and be in business with her. So to have that,
that's tough. I didn't tell you that part. Strong-minded.
That's what the act is for.
Strong-minded means that you're not gonna just sit down with an answer. Strong-minded means not just why now, explain that to me. So you got that to look forward to, because he's not the kind of guy to say, oh, okay, I'm gonna go along with that. So he never did that. So it was always the enthusiasm and the, let me ask her if she can answer that question. You know? So
and I wonder where he got that from.
Huh?
I wonder where that came from.
Well, you know, I was always like that. So, exactly. You know, that's the part. But you want strong-willed children. And the next generation, you all have got to be very strong-minded, because it's something out here now. I mean, it's competitive, and you're going to have to really go beyond the call of duty. So you're going to have to rise up.
Let me ask this, because like you say, we have to be strong. And sometimes I feel like as women, it's almost like you feel like you have to be even more strong. But like, do you all see that is there ever a point where it's like a woman, you know, we need to be acting as a certain way, or a woman, you know, I'm trying to figure out how to say this question. Am I ever
correct? It's the after show. Just say it.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, am I ever too much? Can I ever do too much where it's like, hey, that's in a guy's room? I'm just throwing the question out there. And I just want to know.
Can I come off mute and participate?
Please,
I've got
please.
Something to consider. My best friend used to tell me always, and I do believe it to be true. Women, we have the opportunity to be velvet or steel. And it is a gift, right? And so can you ever be too much? No, but I think the gift that we have of that velvet and steel, and I think people understand, and you understand what I mean, determining when to use the velvet to advance or use the steel to advance is an important thing that women have in our arsenal. And I like to, I love that phrase. I'm sure, you know, Tanya or Andrella, you've got whatever your version is, but I don't think we can be too much. Again, it's just how you use the tools that you have. And as a woman, we have the opportunity to use lots of tools at our disposal.
Well, I will share some of the wisdom of Instagram, which is, I'm not extra, you're not enough. So,
okay.
Which is, I think it's just important to be authentically yourself. And sometimes you may be authentically a little extra, you know, but that's okay, you know, and I think that being yourself is very important. And yes, do we probably have to work harder? Yes. Do we have to manage expectations? Do we have to deal with sexual harassment? Yes, we do. I was telling someone the other day, my very first job at 16 was my very first experience with feeling like I, you know, had some form of harassment. So I learned early. So it's okay. I learned early how to deal with people that don't have my best interest at heart. Yeah, I didn't, I don't know how much, be extra.
Okay.
I would add in just be you.
Yeah, that's it.
You are God's gift, and so be you. And it's okay to be extra. I heard this week that we're going to do makeup, but they said I want a glam makeup artist. I said, what is a glam makeup artist? And I thought, okay, I want one too. So be you. If it takes extra and you want to glam, you want to this, be you. I mean, we're always trying to be something else. Don't do that, because you can't keep it up long. You gotta come out just as you. So, and I think that's what helped me in the company. I was just myself. I cared about each individual person. I didn't, I looked at them as people, not as an employer type thing. Because when COVID came in, the first thing I did is, I got to go get some stuff to get to the field, because we need to help everybody stay safe. So that's the first thing that I did. And I went out there in the garage, because didn't want to be around anybody. I put the mask and the gloves, and the first thing I wanted to do was to make sure everybody was safe. So you be you, take all of your personality and be you. And I'm always asking the next generation, is this too much? And then I said, well, just be you, Andrella. So I've heard that so long that I think that's what you need to stay with. If people say you're extra, say, girl, you're right. I am extra. I'm my mama's child, and I'm gonna be extra. So,
and you guys showing up as your authentic selves every day clearly has paved a way and has worked out extremely well for both of you, because sitting as legends on this call, and London agrees, sitting as legends on this call, you all have just inspired me. And I think that there goes everybody. You all have inspired me and so many other people. Now, Andrella, one thing that Will Scott said is that he's seen you close the bar many times. Will out here putting your business out in the after show.
But he wasn't supposed to say that. So he wasn't. So he wasn't supposed to say it, but he's correct. I would always stay until everything was done, and I had talked to every person I needed to talk to. And believe it or not, Tonja is right. Networking is so important, and you might not get to that general manager and tell him about your company, tell him who you are until 11:30 at night. He might have had a few, and he might, be a little active, but get your point across. Said, this is who I am. My name is Andrella Kenner, and I like to work for your airport. So
it's your
that
time,
might be the time. Yeah.
It's your time.
But it's always your time. Like, it's your time in your 20s. It's your time at whatever age you are. And I agree. I mean, we were, my husband will sometimes ask, what were you really doing at the bar at midnight? And I thought about this last week. At the bar at midnight, I was having a robust conversation about airport funding. Right. And I was enjoying every minute of it, So our group, we may talk a little bit about our families, but we'll talk business all night, while we're closing that bar, So, and we enjoy it. I mean, that's the big thing that I love this business. And I would say too, love what you do. Yes. That is one of the biggest things, because you're going to do it a lot. You're going to spend so much of your time. You think about how much time you spend working or networking or doing those things. You need to love what you do. And that's my biggest hope for my children and my nieces and nephews and all of you on the call is that you find a way to love what you do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you kind of, I'm going to bring up a real point right now that you even brought up. Your husband's like, it's 12 o'clock at night. What are you doing? Like, what are you really doing? And I think that's something too that women have to deal with, especially in a male dominated industry, is like, okay, there might be times where we're trying to do business, focus on business, and then you don't know if somebody's really into that or they're into you. So I want to bring that conversation up, and just with y'all as legends, y'all's experience with that.
I do not date in my industry. I try to stay straight in the line. I would rather date the guy I just met outside than to date in my industry, because my focus is making sure that I keep straight on the line. I'm very conscientious of that. And you don't want blurred lines, because you want people to respect you and your industry. You want to make sure that you're doing the right things. Now, you might meet somebody in your industry along the way, but one off, not 40 off, one off. So keep your lane straight. And the one thing that the people can say that saw me at the bar at 12 o'clock, my lane was always straight. You know, I was going to talk about work. I was going to try to find out, how did this happen? What do we need to do next? Is it what's next in the industry, where the future is going? I'm focused on that, because that's what I was there for. I wasn't there to catch, as the girls say. I wasn't there to catch. Now, when I'm off from work, I'm off from work, but I wasn't there to catch that night. So I was there to work. So stay in your lane, stay, you know, keep your industry straight. So, and that's what I'll say about that.
Well, I would say just like the way you keep your toddlers in line, deflect and distract, you know, so, you know, just change that line of conversation and don't be offended, be flattered, but move on, you know, is deflect and distract. And support your girls. If you see one of your female friends in the industry that is struggling, go up and talk to her. You know? So I think that is important. We all need to have the secret signal somehow that is sends the girls' bat signal up of help me over here. You know, so
the SOS. So
yes.
while we're on the conversation about the bar, they say that your drink tells a lot about you. What is your drink of choice? And Ebony, you can get in on this. Mori, you too. What is your drink of choice?
Girl, you know my drink of choice.
I know, Mori.
Trying something new these days. I got hold of this mule, so I'm with that one now. But I'm trying something new. I used to be White Russian, so it's I change up sometimes. But I only do one drink. I'm a one drink person, so I'm not the person that stays out late and drinks a lot. So I'm a one drink person. So you're not gonna get much out of it.
You deal a lot, not drink a lot.
Yeah.
So are we okay? Because you can't get too much into to White Russia or anything Russian right now. So we're gonna leave it there. But are you saying that you're a mule girl now, like a whiskey mule or a vodka mule? What type of liquor? What type?
Well, I'm really not a big drinker. I have a lot of bottles in this house, but I very rarely drink. So I would say that this is just something I'm doing because I really don't drink. I have past history of alcoholism in the family a long time ago. So I'm very conscientious of that. So, and I didn't mean to change the subject, but that's I'm very conscientious of that. So that's why I say I'm a one drink person. So you won't get a whole lot of drinks out of me. You're gonna get a lot of conversation, but not a lot of drinks.
So you got to follow up with everybody because you were the soberest one at the bar. Like, now you remember when?
Yes, I am gonna be that.
We were having a conversation. Let me send you a follow-up email to recap because you may not remember, but you told me that we won the bid.
I did, but that was just a one drink. It was just conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just one drink though.
What about you, Tanya?
Well, whatever it says about me, I'm a tequila girl. So,
We know about them tequila girls.
It is about having fun and enjoying myself. So, but I have learned to drink less and better. Put it that way, higher quality, especially when it's on someone else's tab. So that's my other advice. Get on someone else's tab at the bar at
okay, that's the advice.
Industry. Mori knows that well.
What now, Tanya? Now, if we're gonna talk tequila, what type of tequila? Like a herder? Like what type of tequila girl are you? Do you like Repo?
So I am a Repo girl, and I would say my favorite is a Fortaleza.
Ooh.
Yes.
Spell that for the people that are a little confused.
Yeah, that would be my favorite. It's a little hard to get. I heard there's some kind of bottle shortage or something. So if you find some in the store, buy some now because yeah, we have a little bit of a tequila and a glass shortage. So prices have been going up. So yes, but I'm trying to learn more about my favorite as well, so how it's made, and so I can appreciate it a little bit more.
Ebony?
Ebony?
I know we
I'll
have
be quick.
Robin.
You know, it's so interesting. I'm learning this show after the show. You know, it could go on forever, but this is really great. So I'm a velvet and steel girl, right? So my drink of choice is a drink called a French 75. It's a combination of champagne and gin, right? That's that steel. With some fresh lemon and simple syrup. It's a great drink though, ladies. And if you want to be a one drink wonder that night, it's a perfect kind of combination.
I just wrote it down.
It is a good choice. I like that one.
It packs a little punch, Andrella. It's a little
God.
punchier than the mule.
I don't
But
know.
you can
man.
sip on it elegantly, Andrella, and you know it goes slow.
I was going to say simple yet complex.
Yes.
This packs a punch. That explains you very well. I think and classy at the same time. It suits you very well. I don't know if Mori wants to tell her drink now.
Yeah, I was gonna say we need to learn from you guys. So what's the newest drink? What should we be drinking, ladies?
Yeah, Mori.
Look, I'm really a Hennessy. Like I like Hennessy, but I like it sweet. So I really like to do like a sidecar. I know it's great. Lauryn, one time she heard me order a Hennessy lemon drop and she's like, what? Hennessy lemon drop? I've never heard of that. But yeah, I like a sweet drink. You know, it's more, I really drink just socially as well. So, you know, a glass of wine, Hennessy sidecar. Yeah, we know more. Anthony, I put all of y'all onto that drink, actually.
So what I will say is Mori says she drinks socially. 3 drinks later, drinking with Mori, just keep in mind that everything will be very social. So, no, we definitely appreciate you guys. We could continue having this conversation for forever because you all are absolutely amazing. So I know Ebony's going to close us out. The conversation has been awesome. I appreciate everyone that has been so engaged and engaging in the chat. Tosin said, you know, just complimenting the conversation and talking about how he had his daughter sitting here and watching. Jan Ferris is a new member of AMAC, so welcome. We're proud to have you a part of the community. Before we close out, and London fell asleep because it's her nap time, not nowhere near a reflection of the conversation, because it's been absolutely amazing and engaging and robust. But one last question that Sharon asked, and Sharon, thank you for your engagement on today, but what would you all tell your younger selves?
Great question.
Tonja,
I think we've talked a lot about it, and I think it is being your authentic self and not being afraid to take your seat at the table. You know, I saw something one time where it's like, if you have the conference table and you have those exterior seats, take one at the conference table. Don't wait for a man to sit up there and sit back here. So I would say it's a great time to be a woman, and you know, don't be shy to be who you are.
Yeah. Don't sit at the back of the table. Go right up front. Even if you're late, walk to the front of the room.
Well, thank you so much, ladies. Again, this has been an amazing, enriching, uplifting conversation. The future is now, right? The future is now. The future is with AMAC. So please join us in our programming, our conference, and we look forward to welcoming you into our family. Have a great day.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Robin.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.